right, hey everybody. I'm back out in the shop here. It's been a while. We had the holidays there, and I walked away with a little bit of holiday crud, so that slowed me down a little bit. I didn't get out here as much as I wanted to. But over the holidays, I was thinking about, I wonder when was the last time that they had worked on this thing and really got it going, because it's got these aftermarket, what used to be chrome wheels and snow snapper tires on it, which obviously aren't stock. So somebody put some time in it to get it running. So I thought we're going to take a look at the tire age and see if that gives me any clues as to anything. So I'm going to walk you guys through that and what I found out. I also talked to my brothers and my nephew about, how I got these spark plugs out. And I got a couple of cringes and some odd looks on that using the hammer and impact socket. I still don't think I heard anything on these old heads, but there is an easier way to do that, and we're going to walk through that a little bit. And then in an earlier video, I was wondering, I wonder why this thing got parked in the first place. You wouldn't have a running vehicle like this and then just suddenly park it, take the fenders and the hood and things like that off of it and just let it set outside. So there had to be a reason. Well, we figured that out the other day too. So let's go take a look. All right, well, here we go. We're gonna check out these tires and see if we can figure out exactly how old they are and see if that gives us any clues as to when was the last time anybody did any real work on this vehicle to get it going, when they spent any time on it. So I don't know what that's really worth to us, but it's just a curiosity thing on my part more than anything else. So I know from working on cars, when I was younger in the 80s or what have you, in the 90s, that tires are marked. They've got a DOT code on them. It tells you quite a bit of information, but I was really just looking for the date. So this came out, you're looking for DOT and then a series of numbers after that and codes. And I also went ahead and I wrote down pretty much anything I could find. I got the brand, the Mohawk Snow Belt 70 off of here, and looking around in this edge right here for the DOT is usually up against the rim or close to it on most tires that I've had experience with anyway. So we got the old tire size there. Your max loads and inflations, pressures, fiberglass. It's another clue, pretty old. So we're not dealing with radials here, right? So it tells us it's an even older tire. So I didn't see any code there at all. Now, searching around on the internet, it said in several places that the code may only be on one side of the tire, and lo and behold, right up here on the top, after I'd looked all over the place on the outside, I couldn't find anything. So you'll see there it's DOT. You got some other codes that tell you some other information, where the tire was built, the size of the tire, some specs for the tire, and then those last 3 digits right there is what we're really looking for. And on here it says 443. Well, when you look that up on the internet, what you find out is, I wrote it all down here. Everything I found, I wrote on the piece of paper here. So what you found on the internet was that CC is a plant, the U4 is the tire size, RHA are the options on the tire. And then the 443 tells you that it's the 44th week and the year ends in a 3. Well, these tires are so old that that doesn't really help me too much. So I went and looked it up on the internet. I got some other information. So these Mohawks, no belt 70s, they were built from August 1968. They were trademarked in May of 1970. And the last year they used them, that they were registered, were November of 2002. So when were the tires made? Who knows? Could have been 73, 83, 93 for all we know. I'm gonna go with 73 or 83 though, given the look of them. So if we have tires that are built after 2000, take a look at these tires over here, which I got about 1.5 years ago. After 2000, it's upside down, but you can see that a DOT code there. All the same digits. And then the year code, or the manufacturer date code, is actually 4 digits now. So 3220, if we were to flip that over. So the 32nd week of 2020. That would have been a lot more helpful, but that didn't kick in until the year 2000. So there you have it. I didn't really learn much about the Jeep, but I did learn quite a bit about date coding on tires. All right, so let's talk about how we could better get these spark plugs out of here. Rather than my method, which was using this impact sockets and a hammer. There's a couple of different options here. Here we have what, is just a removal chuck, basically. They go big, smaller. This one's for studs. If you wanted to pull a stud like one of these out and you couldn't get it out otherwise, you could run this down, tighten this up, and then put your ratchet in it. And then in theory, you should be able to grab onto whatever it is you're working on and pull it out of there. So I'm told these come in a large enough size to maybe do something with that. But I haven't seen them myself, but I wouldn't doubt it that they're not out there. So that might have been an option there. Another option would have been if I had a welder, and I've seen these guys do this at a remanufacturing company that I used to work for. You just you have to break the electrode off, of course, and the ceramic. Run a piece of, metal. Could be dowel, a rod, metal rod, whatever. Just a broken off bolt, thread or all thread. Take a bolt or something like that, weld it to that, or create a T on it. Weld a T on it and twist it off. Maybe just take if this bolt was big enough, weld it directly in there. Then you could use the socket head of the bolt and pull that right out. So the reason I think that those options would have been better, it would have been a lot easier if I had a welder to do that. I think I'd have got them out in a lot less time, with a lot less potential damage to the head. So these heads are pretty stout. I wouldn't worry about them too much. But any of your newer heads, especially a V-block head and definitely the newer aluminum heads, if you go to beating on these with a socket, the impact going down in there, you run the risk of pushing the threads out of the head, or worse, cracking, the base of the head where the spark plug goes in. So definitely would not use this method of, the hammer and the socket on any of the newer, thinner cast heads. and absolutely not on an aluminum head. That would be just a huge no-no. All right, so now the great revelation, the moment we've all been waiting for, right? What the heck did we find out about why this thing was parked? Well, first, I gotta make a couple of admissions here. Remember I threw the seafoam down in the cylinders the other day, thinking that I was gonna work the pistons loose. Well, you guys that have worked on these engines before, probably thinking that I get the what an idiot award, right? Anyway, so I pulled those spark plugs out and I got to looking in there, and you can see the reflection on top. And I was like, why in the heck are all of the cylinders up high, you know? A couple of them should be down a little bit lower than the others. Well, they're all up there like that. And then I look down here and I go, oh yeah. The valves are inside the block on these engines, right? So I'm not looking at top of cylinders at all. I'm looking at the top of the valves. So dumping seafoam in there the other day did absolutely nothing. So I get the what an idiot award. So then I thought, well, man, let me take a look over here where this water pump came out. So I come down here. I haven't really looked in here since I pulled that radiator off. And this is what I find, right? A big old hole on the side of the cylinder. So the mystery as to why this thing was parked, no longer a mystery at all. It's just completely blown out. So this engine's no good, at least the block anymore. And hard telling what else I'm gonna find. So then I got to thinking, again, over the holidays there, it's like there's really nothing. Once the block is, you know, shot like that, and you don't know the condition, obviously, of the rest of, you know, the head, the carburetor is gonna need to be replaced. Fuel pump is gonna need to be replaced. All the electricals, the electrical wire, there's essentially went from, well, maybe I can get it running with just replacing the external stuff and see what happens, to it's no longer viable or even a worthwhile endeavor to mess with. So it's either replace the engine with another 134 or go a different direction. So that's where you guys can come in and help out. What ideas have you got? It's basically a blank slate. I still want to pull the tub off and check the frame. I know I've got some cracked frame here. I got some angle that was welded on over here to kind of fix that, probably is what it looks like. And the same thing on the other side. This frame's a little boogered up. Some weld and some angle over here. But I mean, I can get past all that. I've even looked at possibility of putting YJ shackles and springs on it. You know, what do you guys think about that idea? And throwing, I don't know, for the money you're gonna spend on a replacement engine and the trouble or whatever, what about doing a Kubota V2203 conversion on it? There's a lot of people going out there and doing that. Again, I'm still not sure I want to commit to the thing. Have no idea what the condition is of the transmission, transfer case, differentials, and the frame. So I want to pull the tub off and take a look at it and ponder on it a little bit more. But if you guys have any ideas of what you would do in this situation, is it even worth moving forward with? And if you would move forward with it, any ideas on a drive line, you know, springs and shackles? Again, this is gonna be just a trail rig. I'm not looking to enter any car shows or anything crazy like that. Just get it running, take it out, Don't be afraid to beat it up a little bit. Have a little fun with something that looks a little different than most of them that are out there. So let me know what you guys think. Thanks.